Welcome back to our show, your show, Let's Talk Stocks. And we have two brilliant gentlemen in studio with us this morning. Mr. Horace Hines, Managing Director, Jane Remittance Services. And of course, Kerry Scott, who is Head of Real Estate. It seems Horace bringing the money for Kerry to build the houses. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
All right. Let's start with you, Horace. Just saw a report, I think it's IDB, saying Caribbean, certainly, remittances would have dipped for the region in recent times. I hope that's not the same for Jamaica.
It is the same for Jamaica, and it's not bad news. When you look at the numbers, it's just going back close to pre-pandemic. Okay. So what would have happened in the market space, during the pandemic, there was a lot of rush to support Jamaicans who would have been out of jobs, and interestingly, we were not used to online schooling. Mm-hmm. So most of our students never had equipment. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the money that had to come in during that period would have been to help to upskill our students. Mm-hmm. So what we found is that 2021 to 2023, you had it going up, and then we started to see a slight fall off. I call it normalization.
Of the new normal.
So, life will never go back to being the same pre-pandemic, but I think we are finding a little bit of a normalcy now.
And you're on the real estate side. How are we seeing? I mean, real estate seems to have this unending boom in Jamaica.
Yeah.
It's quite unusual. What's happening?
I mean, so it's like something similar to what is happening in Ghana. In Ghana, they've found oil. Yeah. So it's as if 15 years ago, somebody in Jamaica tapped real estate as the oil for Jamaica. But since that time, maybe 15, 20 years ago, we've seen a boom, property boom right across Jamaica. We're seeing an upward trend in some areas that we never saw much development in. So like St. Thomas is now, a very viable option in terms of development. We've seen a nice build out in the St. James region, Montego Bay, and Shore, the bypass coming. We're now seeing more persons looking to trend towards even Clarendon, Maypen. What we are seeing is more like studio apartments coming up in some of these areas, which we didn't have before. In the rural parts. Traditionally, what we would have seen in rural parts is a man, buying a piece of land and building a big house on it. No, we're seeing people who are now thinking about investment. So tourism is also helping to push that side of the business, because what is really happening is people all want a part of Jamaica, and because the roads are making it easier for people to connect, somebody who wants to stay in Clarendon, somewhere in Maypen, it's easy for him to now come into Kingston. It's like a 40-minute drive. So, I think there's a nice alignment with the road network, helping to push the real estate side of things. And just generally, tourism in Jamaica has been doing extremely well, and we're benefiting from it.
It's interesting. Jamaica's always had what many people call a brain drain. Horace. But I question, is it really a brain drain, or are we in the business of unofficially exporting labor? Because the kind of remittances that comes back.
Well, it is brain drain. I think that we probably, as a nation, need to think about how can we make it be exporting talent. So we develop talent for export, but you still need to maintain talent here for this country to thrive. But in terms of remittances, though, in this global space, families are separated. So it's not that somebody leaves Jamaica and they forget about Jamaica. We have persons who go away to work 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, but Jamaica is home. So while they are out working, they still need to support the family and to take care of activities here. So movement of money. Remittance gets a bad name, but generally most financial transactions involve moving money. And remittance is just one leg of money movement. And so you find that with people being on the move a lot more, money's moving, have to take care of family. It's how you keep family connected. I mean, you look at even airtime, people sell top up. It's a big business, and because people want to talk. So if I'm away, within our service, we allow persons to send airtime.
It's interesting. Talk to me about the evolution of the remittance business, because it seems to be changing, and the more we think that, you know, the technology is changing, I can just transfer money from one account to the other. But the more the technology changes, the more we still see remittance growing, and your businesses are changing and evolving to keep up with it. So talk.
This year, August, Jamaica National celebrates 150 years. And if you look at our genesis, it came out of helping ordinary Jamaicans to own home, right? And then 35 years ago, when the Windrush, when persons were going into the UK, we found that there was a need for persons who had this dream of going abroad to work and was now able to build homes back in Jamaica. So they wanted to have an avenue for saving. So as part of helping our ordinary Jamaicans to find a way, Jamaica National established these entities overseas in the UK, USA, Canada. And from there on, we started out just transferring monies to savings account in Jamaica. And then we got the need that, hey, I not only need to put money in the account, but I also want to send some for my grandma, from a child who is going to school. And so that's how our remittance service was birthed. And today, we have an online platform. We have branches there. We have about 150 points now between the USA, UK, Canada, and Cayman. 150, right? Employing just about 250 staff within the money transfer side of business. So it has evolved over time, and we do offer to send monies for Kerry to pick up, or we can send for savings, we can send for paying bills, we can send for airtime. So within our money movement, I call it money movement, all right? There are various aspects that we cover. So it's not just somebody begs you some money and you send money. That's really not remittance. That's a stigma to remittance, but remittance is much more than that. Today, when you look at the industry, technology has allowed us to use your phone and transfer in minutes, right? So remittances continue to evolve, and as I say, as our people move more, the more they need to send money home. And it's not just a US only. We find that in Jamaica National, I think we have membership now in maybe over 100 countries. Wherever in the world a Jamaican go, they have an account with Jamaica. Uzbekistan. Right? And so there's always a need to move funds home. So in the diaspora, Jamaica National does a lot of work because we do not see it as just moving monies home to support family and friends. The investment boom that we talk about in properties, a lot of the monies that move through the payment rails is to satisfy making down payment, making monthly mortgage payments. So it's a whole gamut of services that we lump under remittances, but we actually do cover a wide range. And so as the business evolves, in the early days, it was people standing in the cold handing in cash for monies to move. Today, they can do it from their phones, right? We have some nice branches that we call, it's the oasis. So our people like to come in, they like to see familiar faces. You know, when you're working abroad, you may work with multinationals around you, but when you come into our location, you get that warm Caribbean feel. And so persons like to come into our offices, but we also have the Jane Money Online that allows them to transact easily from the convenience of their home or in transit.
Interesting. Kerry, the real estate. Talk to me about how you see Jamaica's real estate market. I mean, I thought Portmore, for example, was done. We had built out Portmore, but Now we're hearing they have to do boundary changes.
Yes,
Because you won't stop giving people mortgages.
You can live in Portmore but not being in Portmore. If you check the electoral boundaries, you're in Portmore but not in Portmore, right?
I mean, you know, real estate is a dynamic thing, and as I said earlier, what we've seen a steady increase in how we're building out Jamaica. For instance, let's look at maybe 50, 60 years ago. Traditionally, persons who used to come to Jamaica National for mortgage loans, we saw more persons who were looking to build that dream home, right? Family home in various parts. So like, for instance, Manchester was seen as the retirement parish in Jamaica, like how Florida is seen in the US. However, now what we're seeing is we're seeing a transition. We're seeing people are now looking to retire Montego Bay, St. Anne. And what we're seeing, places like Mandeville, Kingston area, as I said earlier, Maypen, those areas, we're seeing more investment going in these areas. Airbnbs, short-term rentals and long-term rentals, but we're seeing more of that coming up. So I give you some statistics. Last year, for the year ending 2024, March 31st, 2024, the Realtors Association of Jamaica, they would have seen some 200 million worth of just rentals in the St. Anne region.
St. Anne.
Just that area, right? You can now times that by 5 to see what you're getting in Kingston. So what we're seeing is the property market building out in such a way where it is spreading across Jamaica. So it's no longer concentrated in any particular, in the Kingston metropolitan area. We're seeing people now going outside of that area.
It's interesting.
One of the most important things that we must also understand is that the development financing side of the business has now become extremely viable for companies like JN, who offer development financing. So we're trying to tap into that area. And also, because of the property boom in Jamaica, there is now a massive need for property managers. So JN, having the kind of foresight, realized that was where the property market was going. So JN Properties Limited became a viable arm for the group. And what JN Properties Limited is now looking to do is we're going into, we're now a fully functional real estate dealership. So persons abroad who were looking properties to purchase in Jamaica, they can come through JN Properties Limited, and again it connects with the remittance, So it's so we're trying to create a one-stop shop type of arrangement. You're abroad, you want a property to buy, you want a mortgage, so you're also going to want to pay that mortgage. Talk to me
about that mortgage, because normally, Horace, when we're talking about mortgages, you have to carry in your proof of income, etc., and most people, in their mind, it's you work in Jamaica, and so you can get a mortgage in Jamaica through JN. But where I hear you going, if you're working in New York or Miami or London in a good job, you can get a mortgage.
Absolutely.
Yes, you can, and there are mechanisms to validate the income and the required documents for that mortgage. So, as you said earlier, JN is a full one-stop shop, right? So we have the bank, we have the life insurance, we have the general insurance, we have the investment house, which is JN Fund Managers Limited, we have the property, we have the remittance and payment arm, we have the small business lending, that's part of the bank, and then on another side we have our technology company, which is MC Systems, which is one of the leading entities in the technology space here in Jamaica. And one of the things that Jane does is that we have this one Jane concept. So when we go out and engage not only the diaspora but persons here, we carry that one face. But when we are out there in the diaspora, we get queries on how do I purchase somewhere in Jamaica, right? How do I save? Those are two of the leading questions that you get, because there's always this dream of a Jamaican overseas of owning something in Jamaica. And that's part of what's driving a lot of the development here. So a lot of the townhouses and the apartments that we see, there is significant overseas ownership within those structures. And so those, I mean, I'm not on the bank side, but so I won't go into details in terms of how you qualify for the mortgage. But we do take a number of mortgage applicants from overseas, right? And everything ties in, as Kerry said. So if you get a mortgage, one of the easiest way to make those monthly commitments is through Jane Money.
So we've been talking with Mr. Horace Hines and Mr. Kerry Scott, senior managers out of the Jane Financial Group, who are saying they will always help you to find a way from money services through to real estate. Jane is the choice. As we always say here on Let's Talk Stocks, we give you information to make better financial decisions. Come back with us tomorrow morning at 9. We'll have another insightful program lined up for you.